Welcome to round 4 of the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet on Maconi Entertainment. Last week we saw super late model cars at Five Flags. It was Josh Cottle that took home the win for the second week in a row. Tonight's variety? ARCA cars at Bristol. However, these aren't the run-of-the-mill ARCA cars on iRacing. The Maconi setup shop has recreated the abilities of the real-world modern ARCA car, featuring power and weight balance of performance to match the current ARCA series with iRacing's 2013 Chevrolet SS and 2016 Ford Fusion Cup cars. The Driver's Gauntlet is designed to emulate the progression of a driver from the beginning ranks of the Legends cars all the way up the ladder system and into the next gens. And my name is Joey Adbury, and joining me in the booth tonight is Will Tiller, our producer Ryan Bauer behind the scenes, and camera angles being provided by Dougie Beard. We do have race control watching over this event. Brandon Davis will be keeping an eye on all of the action on track. And Will, Bristol has a long reputation of being known as the last great Coliseum, and tell us a little bit more about this place.
Yes, sir. I think at this point, everybody knows the Coliseum that is Bristol Motor Speedway. You see, open in 1961. These short turns are banked at 26 and 30 degrees. Now, as of late, we have done a dirt variation of this track as well that makes this race even more crazy at this half-mile racetrack here tonight. And Joey, you mentioned 153,000 seats in this great last Coliseum that is Bristol Motor Speedway.
Well, I know that 153,000 seats are definitely sold out, and the points are starting to take shape, and we have a special video from the top 3 that are currently sitting in that championship.
I'm Josh Cottle, driver of the 13 for the shop, and I'll be your 2023 Ultimate Driver.
I'm Brian Zimmerman, driver of the number 28, Five Kings Motorsports Chevrolet. And if I can make every race this season, I'm your 2023 Ultimate Driver.
I'm Jeff Maconi, driver of the Maconi Setup Shop Mach 03 Chevrolet, and I'm going to be your 2023 Ultimate Driver.
Well, those are your top 3 that are currently in the championship hunt right now, and those aren't the only ones. You know, 4th place, Joey Masevich, Carson Lucas, Guillaume Hainaut, Brandon Evans, Dakota Bro, Jacob Reeves, and Tanner Marr all in the top 10, and we're getting the action that we're going to see on track tonight. We mentioned it earlier, these are specially modified cars, ARCA cars that are recreated with the power and weight penalties with these 2013 Chevy SS and 2016 Ford Fusion, and both cars, they perform equally and are on the same setup, and no fast repair available for the drivers tonight. Will, that's going to be an interesting one to watch, because if they take damage, that's pretty much going to be the end of the day unless they come down and get that fixed at a time penalty. And we have 3 green-white checkered attempts if we need them tonight. And like I mentioned, both of the cars, no matter which one you choose, you are on a fixed setup provided by Maconi Setup Shop. And Will, I know that these cars are going to be hooked up, and it's going to be fun to watch them here on the high banks of Bristol.
No, and what an awesome season it's been so far in this Driver's Gauntlet. We've now worked our way up into a stock car now, Joey, and after this we'll move up again to the trucks, to the Xfinity series, then those next gens. But Joey, one thing to me week in and week out in the series are that money total that a driver can walk away with here tonight. And if you can survive the gauntlet that is going to be 200 laps, no fast repairs in Bristol, you definitely deserve that $100 here tonight.
Well, and you mentioned the prize money, and we see kind of the schedule. We started in the Legends, we went late model, then super late model, and one thing's for sure, it was Josh Cottle that dominated those late models. We'll see if he's got the hang of the ARCA car here at Bristol, and then you go to the trucks and Xfinity. And like we mentioned, Will, it's designed to emulate the progression of that driver. If you started your racing career, yeah, you would start over those legend cars and dream of one day being in a NASCAR Next Gen.
Yeah, and Joey, as a driver yourself, what's the real life progression like from going to, let's say, a small super late model or legend cars into now a stock car? We're officially going to head off here in the Driver's Gauntlet.
Well, it's just putting the monkey behind the wheel again. You know, every race car is a little bit different, but once you figure out how it likes to be driven, she'll do anything that you want out there. And it's important to understand the personalities of each race car. They don't all drive the same, just like how if you hop in a Chevy Suburban, it doesn't drive the same as a Corvette. And once you understand that, things seem to get a little bit easier out there. And I know that qualifying is wrapping up right now, and I believe we have our official starting grid. Surprise, surprise, Will. Josh Cottle, he's starting to make a thing of this right now, is that he is the fastest car on the racetrack, and he is the only car under 15 seconds in that lap time, taking away that pole position. Ryan Andrews is going to be joining him on the front row there in the second place. Carson Lucas third, Aaron Smith fourth, Kyle Turzak fifth, Chris Wilhite in the sixth spot, Guillaume Hainaut there seventh, Kyle Perry eighth, Jason Hurdle ninth, and Eric Sellers rounding out the top 10.
And we kick off with the number 11 position of Jeffrey Maconi in that 03. Joey Masevich in that 64 will ride off 12. Brian Evans 13th here tonight. Jacob Reeves in that 91 machine will roll off 14th. Mark McNutt in that 15 will roll off 15. A number to match his position here tonight. Brian Sablaski will roll off 16th in the 85. Tamar will roll off 17th. Dakota Burrow in that 52 will ride off 18th in that Chevy machine. To round out our starting grid here tonight, Ryan Zimmerman in that 28 will roll off 19th, and 20th will be Michael Klein in that 10 machine.
Well, that's going to be the 20 cars that we're going to be seeing here on Bristol. And of course, none of this would be possible without Maconi Setup Shop and Maconi Entertainment. Head on over to www.maconisetupshop.com. Find those subscriptions that are available to you. And if you're interested in broadcasting, you can also fill out that tab for Maconi Entertainment. And Jeff will get back to you about getting your own league, race, or just event broadcast here on the screen with the commentary booth. And we do have the cars taking the pre-grid. Pretty nice evening, Will. 87-degree air temperature, 91 degrees on the track, and we'll have to keep an eye on that because 91 starts to warm up a little bit, but it is an afternoon race. I wonder if it'll get warmer or if the track will continue to cool off.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye out on that here tonight, Joey, as we await that pace car to take us around Bristol Motor Speedway. Here tonight, Joey, one of the things I wanted to mention as well, these drivers will have 2 sets of tires. What do you think is going to be the biggest, let's say, wrench in a victory plan, those tires or the damage you're going to sustain here tonight?
Well, you know, that's a really interesting point there, the limited number of tires that they have. Going to have to keep an eye on that because that's definitely going to come into strategy and how these drivers work that out. I don't know. I think that tires are worth a ton here at Bristol, but I think track position is worth more than that.
Yeah, track position indeed. You don't want to be stuck in the middle of this pack here at Bristol. If one domino falls, they all begin to fall as well. Joey, looks like the pace car will take us around Bristol. We're going to go green flag racing here in this driver's gauntlet.
Yeah, and since it is a shorter track, we get the 2 pace laps here under Barney the Flagman's careful eye. Look at him watching over this field. He says, hey, I'm the daycare manager tonight. Y'all in line out here and put on a great show for everybody because look at that. The fans are in attendance. It is standing room only. How many did you say could fit here, Will?
153,000.
153,000 virtual fans out here to watch this event. And now we're going to get that pace car coming off of the racetrack, and it'll be up to Josh Cottle in the number 13 to decide when to go here on the initial start to get the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet underway here at Bristol Motor Speedway, and side-by-side racing between Josh Cottle and Ryan Andrew, and it's actually the high lane that prevails right now. Ryan Andrew to the point, and just like that, the number 70 of Aaron Smith also finds his way around our pole sitter.
As things are settling down one lap into this race so far, Andrew will lead the way in that 88 machine. Smith in the second position in that 70. More battles ensuing on the racetrack as we're off of 4.
Oh, looks like the number 11 was really, really loose coming off of turn 3, turn 4, but was able to save it on the track back there. And I tell you what, it may be calm up at the front, but this scrum for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place is all but calm.
Yeah, things are beginning to take shape here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We now ride on board with Jeff Maconi. We watch as he slices and dices through the field around corner number 4, down the front stretch, make it lap 5 into 1.
I always love those onboard shots, and especially everything that was going on. And I think we even saw a little bit of a hand gesture, a hand wave going out of Maconi's car there. And here we see Brandon Evans, the concentration that he's got dealing with cars going 3 wide around him. There's a lot going on here in just a quick half-mile lap, Will. These cars are lapping at 15 seconds per lap.
Very frantic pace so far here tonight. You see those Maconi setup shop cars on the racetrack there, Joey. You can't miss them. They're almost all together here. Watch if they want to build together some transformer teamwork here tonight, work their way to the top of the grid. But 8 laps in here tonight, still being led by the 88 of Andrew.
Well, and it's important that we were highlighting Jeff Maconi there just a minute ago, because he is in the top 3 of that points championship that we mentioned. And we got the video of those 3 contenders. And looking down at the order here, obviously Josh Cottle was off to a great start, but now finds himself in the 5th place position, just in front of Jeff Maconi. So this is actually a great points battle, and Brian Zimmerman all the way back. You got to go back to 16th place back here to find the number 28 car.
Yeah, Brian Zimmerman currently at the tail end of this pack right now, not putting forth the effort that he wants to do. He's going to ride on board that 28 machine. Watch as he takes these corners here, Joey. And what could be the cause of him struggling just a little bit here tonight?
Well, everybody's on a fixed setup, so it's not necessarily that. It's about how well do you match this car and this track combination. And some drivers do, some drivers don't. And the only reason why I mentioned Brian Zimmerman falling back early is because if you fall back too early here at Bristol with such a short lap, it can be easy to find yourself a lap down early, and then you just are climbing out of a hole the whole time. Oh no, looks like we've got cars spun around on the front straight, but they are off of the racing line, and we stay green on the racetrack.
Still green, 13 laps into this race now as we watch the 03. Jeffrey Maconi's going to make it lap 14. It looks like we're going to check out a replay here on Maconi Entertainment. Dude, what? No caution on there, Joey. It looks like Ryan Andrew, one of those Maconi setup shop cars, going to have a problem.
Yeah, this was our leader. This was Ryan Andrew. And oh no, he just got caught up with a lapped car. And he was just coming off of turn 4, trying to complete another lap, and with no fast repairs, he's back going on the racetrack. And what I see, he is still on the lead lap, just barely, but disaster for Ryan Andrew in the number 88 early on.
Absolute disastrous for that 88 machine. And one thing that stood out to me there, Joey, not the 88 getting entangled here early, but how alone he was on the racetrack. Andrew in that 88 machine was running one heck of a race. To see it end very early on is very disappointing.
Yeah, but look at this scrum here. You see the 64, that's Joey Masevich. You also see the 51, Kyle Terzic right there, and then we ride on board with Brandon Evans in the 11th place position. And this is a battle that has been going on for 18 laps, been side by side, and I think this is one of the reasons why people love Bristol. Look, there's multiple lanes and a lot of racing going on every turn.
Yeah, battling for it to stay inside the top 10. You see the frantic pace so far here tonight, Joey, here on Maconi Entertainment. You watch that 64 right there. Masevich trying to hold on to top 10. Now Masevich has Sellers in that 17 to his outside. They're swapping positions side by side all around Bristol down that front stretch.
And you know, to tell you the truth, I haven't been able to watch the pace of the leaders to see if the fast cars are running up top, if they're running down below, but I gotta give a credit And a handout to the Maconi setup shop, because they've really optimized the setup on these cars to be able to run down low and the high line. We've got racing all over the racetrack. It's very impressive.
Yeah, it's still 2x2 right now between Macevich and the 17 Evans. Looks now that Sellers in the 17, as Sellers will emerge from that pack clearly in the 7th position. But Joey, you touched on it there. Always passes here with these fit setups. Everybody battling for position here at 23 laps in.
Oh, Joey Macevich, and I believe that's Kyle Turzak there in the 51, get so close as they try to keep to their high lane and low lane as they're working through this lap traffic, and just the quarters tend to get very close here at Bristol. And then it always seems that as the laps continue to dwindle down, people don't seem to care as much, and those cars start to get banked up a little bit.
Yeah, these cars will get banged up here tonight at Bristol. As I always like to say with these short track races that we see with these stock cars, or sometimes with the cup cars as well, Joey, it's not how pretty you look in victory lane, it's just that you get there at a track like Bristol.
Riding on board with Jacob Reeves here in the number 91. Looking in front at this, let's see here. This is 5 cars all battling it out directly in front of Jacob. And you see how much they flirt with that wall, kick up a little bit of tire smoke and dust as they just go up and brush it. And 64, Macevich has found his way up to the top lane. He was down low, must have not liked it down there, and now he's working that top groove, but it's pretty blocked up in front of him with the 17 of Eric Sellers and Carson Lucas down low.
Yeah, these are all battles for the 7th, 8th, and 9th positions right here on the racetrack. You see right there, Sellers is trying to hold off Lucas in that 4. You also have Macevich right there.
Oh, we got problems at 39. Brandon Evans. And we got, heavy contact. I believe that was the 6 of Tanner Marr, just went head on with Brandon Evans. And here we see Brandon trying to figure out what the best course of action is, but that is so unfortunate for one of our consistently fast cars. You see smoke coming out the back end, and catch this replay, Will.
See the 39 right there, Brandon Evans. You see him coming off with 2, already with a little bit of a wiggle down the backstretch, down into 3 and 4, riding that low line. Just gonna see what causes it here as we come down the front stretch. Ooh, might be a little friendly fire there from the 51 machine.
I agree, and if there wasn't contact, I think that he might have just squeezed Brandon Evans down the racetrack a little bit, which he wasn't able to hold. And here we see Tanner Marr. This is the car that comes in and meets Brandon Evans head on.
Yeah, you can't see through that brake smoke right there. Tanner Marsh really had nowhere to go on the racetrack. Thought he was clear until that last second where he makes head-on contact with Evans right there. Looks to be both of their night's going to be wrapped up there, Joey. That's a shame for Evans there, who was holding on to that top 10 position. Of course, Marsh was trying to work his way up the grid as well, but both drivers seem to have retired in tonight's race.
Yeah, and I see Brian Zimmerman has disconnected, and you know, he just was he caught up in that as well, Will? I don't remember seeing Brian Zimmerman involved in that wreck, but I see down here he has disconnected out of the race, and that one's a championship points implication.
Yeah, I think Brian was just having a rough night here tonight. Whether or not he was entangled in any of the cautions we've had so far, I think he just wasn't having the night that he wanted to run in the tail end of that pack. I think we rode on board with him a few times there at 28. Watch his Ghost Rider on the track there. He might have been tagged up on that there, Joe. He came back into frame there out of the Casper land, and he made contact with the inside wall.
Yeah, and like you said, a little bit of connection issues and rolling around. I don't think he was as competitive as he wanted to be in when he went head on into that wall with no fast repair. He said, let's go see what type of hot dogs are here at the food vendors. And I don't blame him at that point. I'd join him. Let's go grab a drink and watch some racing.
That's it. Grab a comfortable spot somewhere. There are plenty here at the Bristol Motor Speedway to watch this action here tonight. But we saw the beginning of this race, though, Joey. We watched Andrew in that 88 lead the way, make contact with a lapped car. Now the race being led by that 7 of Will Light at the top. That 7 machine is just quietly creeping around here 33 laps in.
Well, and before we get back to racing, because they are getting stacked up here, I like that you mentioned Ryan Andrew, because he was able to salvage the race by staying on the lead lap. He's going to restart in the 13th place position, but most crucially, he's back up with the pack and can move forward again. And I was watching his lap times. It didn't fall off at all. He still is very competitive despite the hit that he took out on the racetrack. But up front, it's Chris Willite in the number 7 car. He's going to be in control of this restart. And we got the pace car down off the pit road at the number 7, already on the loud pedal. Barney the flag man gives him the green flag, and we're racing at Bristol one more time here. We got the number 70 of Aaron Smith down low, and now it's Guillaume Hainaut down in the 68. He's going to take a look down the inside of our leader, Chris Willite. Not quite there this time.
Hainaut keeps trying that inside line. Hainaut wants it in that 68 machine. Now has a battle on his hands as Josh Cottle, the driver at the top here. It's a nice battle into the outside here. One of the hottest drivers so far this season. Now up to second. Make a lap 37 down to 1.
Well, and Josh Cottle has been very, very patient. Remember, he was our pole sitter, and now he's worked his way back up. He had the opportunity on the restart as we ride on board with Jeff Maconi. Wearing the virtual reality plus the monitor, you gotta wonder how many more monitors does he need in order to get up front.
He can see it all, Joey, and you can see why here tonight. Jeffrey Maconi is currently just battling it out here. One of the hottest drivers so far inside the top 5. See if he can grab that position from the 68, but watch the 70 of Smith behind him as well, bookending our top 5.
No, and I know we'll get more shots of Jeff throughout the night. I know that he's very proud of that new sim rig. I believe it's a SimCraft rig, and a huge upgrade over what he had. And trust me, he loves that thing and talks about how much it's been able to really up his game and just how much more firm and stable he feels in that simulator and what all he can do out there. And Will up at the front. Here is the 13 showing the nose down low. That's Josh Cottle, putting the pressure to Chris Willite.
He is just knocking on that door like a DoorDash driver here tonight. Josh Cottle keeps creeping to the inside of the 7 of Will Light here as we make it down into 3 and 4. Josh Cottle to the inside here on 3 and 4. He'll go to the pass down the front stretch here, make it 43 in the books, down into 1, still side by side for the lead down the backstretch.
You can see how difficult it is to pull up and pass somebody here at Bristol. The top lane really has a good momentum off the corner, while the bottom lane succeeds through the turns, but it's all about who can stay persistent with this. And it looks like Josh Cottle got up alongside, but was not able to complete the pass on the number 7. And looking further back, look at this. Jeff Maconi holding off a very hungry pack behind him. That includes the likes of the 70 of Aaron Smith.
I think the pressure was starting to get to him just a little bit there, Joey. We saw that 0-3 brush the top side wall. Here's now Jeff Maconi will try to the inside of the 68 machine. Has no right behind in front of him here as we see a battle for a second now starting to brew. It looks like, Joey, though, Jeff Maconi prefers that top side lane here at Bristol.
Well, and I'm curious, Will. We'll see how it develops as the track rubbers in, if that changes at all. But once again, props to the Maconi Setup Shop team for coming out here with a setup that really can race multiple grooves on the racetrack. It's not always easy to do that, and they've definitely put a product out here on the racetrack that I think is very enjoyable. If you ask me, the best part about racing is the smiles afterwards and talking about those battles that you had.
Talking about battles on the racetrack right now, Jeffrey Maconi up to 3rd on the racetrack, but now has some battle on his hands as Lucas and that 4 machine's trying to get a position back from him. But Joey, you touched on it not too long ago. Andrew in that 88 is now back inside the top 10.
Well, and we're side by side for the lead one more time. Josh Cottle down the inside of Chris Willett, has a nose ahead going down the back straightaway. Is he able to pull it off? He is clear. Is he going to slide up? Josh Cottle back to the point in that number 13 car. And we're going to see what kind of pace he has, because everybody's on the same setup, but he certainly seems to just have an edge over the rest of the competition.
Yeah, the only time that a Ford Fusion looks good on a racetrack, Josh Cottle on that 13 machine is making it look good here tonight on top of the grid here. Now 52 laps into this race, about a quarter into this race here tonight, Joey. Not too many cautions on the racetrack, not what we would see here at Bristol, but a few names already out of this race. I really like this pace that we have so far. Very clean, very, say, respectable race here at Bristol so far.
Yeah, here we are riding on board with Aaron Smith, pretty close to Kyle Terzak there, going down the track straightaway, but Aaron Smith is able to get that 8th place position. Looks like the 51 is committed to the high side of the racetrack, and actually the car that I'm curious about is the one that's behind the 51. The number 88 has made his way back inside the top 10. That is Ryan Andrew. He was our leader. And look at this, Will. Look at the hood of the car. He has got big time damage on the front end of this thing, but it is not affecting him out on the racetrack.
Ryan Andrew came over the radio and said, does this thing still work? They said, absolutely. He said, okay, I'm staying out on the racetrack. Now up to 10th. You saw that nose looking like an accordion on the front end of that race car. Now battling right now for 3rd is Bruin. As we watch, no, Hesnall's fallen down to 7th there, Joey. He was just battling for a podium not too long ago, now trying to hold on for a position inside the top 10.
Yeah, the 68 just falling down the order a little bit, but the number 70 is on the move. We see the 70 in front here. We're right on board with Guillaume. Just trying to find the pace right now. We're about a quarter of the way through this race, and we're going to have a grip on this race car. And I know that we covered a race that was Bristol Dirt recently, and these cars are doing a lot of steering input there, but the pace here on the concrete, the asphalt, is just so fast. I mentioned it earlier, 15-second lap time, so these drivers don't have a time to take a break, rest, or breathe at all.
And what I mentioned on too as well, Joey, you watch here in the corners, very fast down the back and front stretch here as we're going to ride on board the Reeves right now. You see the franticness in the corners you have to watch out. You have somebody very, very close to you on the top side or low side, depending on which line you run. It's very close to make contact either with another driver or that top side wall, so that you're constantly thinking, you're constantly having to make those split-second decisions in a race. And Joey, that's why we see a lot of cars with damage on it tonight, because sometimes you can't think of a reaction quick enough. You make contact, but you just keep it rolling around Bristol here tonight.
Well, and it's important. The track position is so important here at Bristol that if you do pick up damage, you're right, you got to keep trucking. And I'm happy that our producer, Ryan Bauer, he's been covering this number 70 car quite a bit, because he was all the way back down in like the 9th, 10th spot, and Aaron Smith has found the car underneath him, continues to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, whether it's on timing or scoring or just plain and simple passing cars. He's passed about one car every few laps, just knocked out Jeff Maconi, and next up on the list is the number 20 of Kyle Perry.
Yeah, the 70 machine. You can't miss him on the racetrack here tonight on Maconi Entertainment. Rocking a bright, a yellow, you can almost say it's a lemon paint scheme here tonight in that 70 machine. Making it look good, though. Up to 6th here at 65 laps in.
And just like that, look at this. The number 70 continues to hunt down the 20. And it was pretty amusing when we were riding on board with Jeff Maconi, because, look, he has already driven away from the 03 car. That shows you the pace that this 70 has. He has just left Jeff Maconi in the dust, has caught up to the number 20 of Kyle Perry here, and it's just a matter of time before Aaron Smith picks his move and we see him go a little bit higher on the racetrack. That allows him to make this over-under move, carry the momentum down the straightaway. Take a look down. the inside of Kyle Perry. And you see Kyle already start to go defensive down low on the racetrack. And Aaron Smith has got to regroup it, figure out a new way to approach this pass.
Yeah, with about 130 laps to go here tonight. These are the ARCA cars at Bristol Motor Speedway in the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. And Joey, this is our first attempt at what could say the first level of stock car driving. I know late models, super late models, pretty close to a stock car, but this is their first taste at the actual, big boy car, if you will. But here tonight, the drivers have kept it pretty clean. Only a couple of cautions in the book, 70 laps in. I feel like the pace will pick up as this race proceeds, but as we've been watching these battles for positioning, Joey, Josh Cottle now has a lead of over 2.5 seconds at the top.
Oh, I've been noticing, definitely. Josh Cottle is starting to run away with it, but I'm still very impressed with the 70 because he got around Kyle Perry, went around on the top side. Now he's looking down low on Joey Masevich, just doing what he needs to get by all of these cars, whether it's on the top side, whether it's on the bottom. The 70 is getting it done out there, but tell you what, there's a difference between catching and passing, and when you get closer and closer to the front of this field, these passes get more and more difficult as we see Aaron Smith having a little bit more trouble with Joey Masevich in completing this pass.
Yeah, but when I see Joey's just a slow, methodical grind through the grid as he's still to the inside of the 64 machine of Joey Masevich, so we come off of 2 down to 3 and 4, making himself known here in that 70 machine. Even though a huge gap between second and the top of the grid, Smith wants to position himself in the top 3 as we're down into the corner. Still a battle proceeding for the 4th position.
And I mentioned it earlier, it's just about who can be the most consistent in their lane for the longest, because you can't get a pass done in one corner here at Bristol. Or I should rephrase that, you can, but most often it doesn't happen in one corner. It takes multiple laps here to complete a pass at this racetrack, and you're seeing it here. The 70 is almost clear of Masevich, but he's not quite there, and that high line just keeps the top speed. But Aaron Smith just needs to keep his head down. I know it can get frustrating, but inches matter at this point.
They really do, Joey. And one thing I wanted to ask you as well, as we still watch this battle proceed, we're going to ride on board with Kyle Perry in that 20 machine, the courtside seat of this battle for 4th. Does this ever give you anxiety during a race, Joey? Just this constant side-by-side battle at a track that's so tight, and it's so split-second decisions, could cost you the race. Does this ever start to irk at you where you just can't get past a guy, but you're side-by-side?
Well, now, anxiety, now are you referring in the driver's seat or as a team manager? Or...
Yeah, in the driver's seat, because you're so close, you're still side-by-side. Any little wrong oversteer, any little contact can cost you and the other driver of the race. Is there anything that's starting to build as these two are still side by side for 4th?
No, I wouldn't say any anxiety ever. You should be completely confident in your abilities and in your equipment, and you should know the limits of those. And if you overstep those limits, then it's 100% on you for what happens and in your actions out there on the racetrack. But that's what makes racing so great. And you're right, it's still side by side for this battle for what is the 4th place on the racetrack. And I don't necessarily want to take the camera away, but I want to mention Carson Lucas in the 3rd place position, because we haven't mentioned him much. He has been hounding the back of Chris Willite. He has also just been trying to find a way around the number 7, but kind of in the same position. It's really tough to actually make the pass.
Still tough indeed. As you see, though, he is right on that back bumper. Going to go high side around 3 and 4 down the front stretch here. We're going to make it lap 85 momentarily as we still see that 70 machine of Smith still to the inside of Joey Masevich. There we go. We'll make it 85 down into 1 right. Now Masevich still trying to hold on that position inside the top 5. Smith again to the inside. Going to run out of racetrack, though, and follow behind him down into 3.
Well, and you see Aaron Smith give up on that low line here, but he realizes he's got I shouldn't say a faster car, but I think he's just figured it out more than how Joey Masevich is approaching the racetrack right now. However, Joey Masevich is doing a fantastic job up top there, just hitting his marks and keeping that 4th position for now. And Aaron Smith just has to inch away, crawl away at the bottom of the racetrack in hopes that the 64 will make a little bit of a slip up and you can complete that pass. But before we get there, Will, yellow flag on the racetrack. I believe maybe the 91 of Jacob Reeves was just stopped in the middle of that. And thankfully the leaders got by. It was actually a pretty close call.
Yeah, rocking that old school 2010s Dale Jr. Mountain Dew paint scheme on that machine here tonight. And you watch him now here on this Maconi Entertainment replay down that front stretch. Looks like a little bit of contact on the 15. Just going to spook Reeves there. Going to send him into that inside wall. Heavy damage to that front nose. Going to tap the top side. Not as hard, though. And you see right there, right off of 4 here, you're going to see a little bit of a contact. Huge oversteer out of Reeves. Hard contact on the inside.
Well, this was our leader here that we were riding on board with. Josh Cottle went all the way down to the apron to avoid that wreck. Great avoidance from the number 13. And as we were watching that replay, we've got the majority of our lead lap cars down. Oh no, the 68 has a problem. He is spun on pit road by the 51, but the majority of these cars are taking the opportunity to fill it up with fuel and also put 4 fresh tires on.
Yeah, and we talked about that to start off this broadcast here tonight, Joey. The driver's only working with 2 sets of tires, so right around the mark you would think to put the first set on, about 100 laps in. So I think these drivers will probably be good to the end unless you want to sneak that last set in towards the end of this race as we watch this battle off of pit road. 90 laps into this race so far here tonight, Joey. We've seen a bit of a change at the top of the grid. But once Josh Cottle got up there in that 13, he started to check out there.
Yeah, Josh Cottle definitely has pace on everybody, and can't be from the setup because it is a fixed setup that all of these drivers are on, but can't say that I'm surprised, especially given his results in the last 2 events, Will. He is pretty much got pole and won them flat out.
Yeah, and we talk about that here, the different classes of cars these drivers had to go through each week, you know, the different fields of what you have to deal with. That doesn't bother Josh Cottle at all. That's why we like to call this a driver's gauntlet, to get these drivers a little bit of a gauntlet they have to drive through. For Josh Cottle, at this point, he's making it look easy in this gauntlet.
He is definitely making it look really easy, and we're coming up on halfway through this race. These drivers are actually making a really quick work of this, and Will, pull out that crystal ball of yours and tell me, are we going to get another green flag run, or what do you think is the racing that we're going to see here?
Yeah, I feel like in this race, we're going to have another great green flag run there. As mentioned, the caution flags here tonight haven't included a bunch of cars. In most instances, it's 1 to 2 drivers. Here tonight, we're watching Josh Cottle at the top of the grid. Joey Masevich right there in the 64. We watched a lot of battles take at least a couple of laps to ensue, 2 or 3 laps. We watched that battle between the 70 of Smith there as well. So here tonight, Joey, we could see a huge run to the end, or we could start to see the fireworks start to shoot off here tonight. A couple more caution flags before the end of this race.
Yeah, well, the pace car lights are indeed out, and Josh Cottle has control of the field. We're going to be going back green flag racing this time around. Joey Masevich joins him on the front row, and to report in, looks like all of the cars did indeed come down pit road. Maybe Brian Sabelski back there still on some older stuff, but the 13 already on the loud pedal. Gets a great jump under Barney the flagman, waving the green flag. We're racing here again at the driver's gauntlet, and wow, look at the number 03. That's Jeff Maconi. Power move around the outside. We're seeing the 64 and 03 get up there and take the lead.
Joey Masevich up to the top of the grid in that 64 machine. Can't celebrate too quick. A 03, Jeffrey Maconi on the outside right now, as well as the battle for the leads ensuing. Jeffrey Maconi to the top side of the 64. Joey Masevich make it lap 96 into 1. Jeffrey Maconi, our race leader, down the backstretch.
Now, I'm really curious. Look at this. This is the 13 falling down through the field, and I think this is strategic, Will. I think that he is playing it very easy on these tires and letting them come in very carefully and just letting these guys run off with it. This is pretty similar to what we saw at the beginning of the race. Now, he had a yellow flag to be able to regroup it all and then really charge through the end, but I'm curious to see, does Josh Cottle continue to fall, or does he come back through the field?
As we watch Josh Cottle fall down the positions on the racetrack down in the 7th, we watch the 88 of Andrew rise into the top 3. Joey, who would have thought after that contact with the lap car down that backstretch there with the damage on that 88, he would have any speed left at all inside that race car here tonight. Now inside the top 3, the 88 of Andrew.
I did, Will. I'm raising my hand over here. I thought the 88 was still fast. He showed it. As soon as he got back out on the racetrack, he's continued to be one of the fastest cars out there. And here's the number 20 of Kyle Perry battling it out with Carson Lucas down low. Really close going down into turn number 1 there, but Kyle Perry hangs on to that 5th place position. And now we are starting to see the number 13 slowly get up to pace. He's now running 15.5 second lap times, which is matching the cars around him. Still seems to be taking it pretty easy on those steering inputs, making sure not to slide the car around too much.
He's just letting that T simmer inside of that race car. Josh Cottle, who we're going to ride on board here on Maconi Entertainment, currently in 7th. Ran away there in that long green flag run and built the lead to almost 5 seconds on the racetrack. You see him now currently in that 7th position, just taking it easy, as you mentioned, Joey, here, 104 laps in.
104 laps in, we are officially over halfway through this race, and here's the number 7 of Chris Willite searching around on the top of the racetrack, trying to get around Ryan Andrew, who's right in front of him, and then that's Joey Masevich. Kind of all 3 cars battling it out for what is the 2nd place position on the racetrack, and you see the number 7 really searching around, as well as the 88. Now the 88 goes to the top side. See if he can overtake Masevich. Oh, huge moment for Ryan Andrew. Gets wicked loose, has some contact up into the wall.
That might be the last blow to the 88 as Ryan Andrew makes hard contact to the top side wall, trying to battle his way back up through the grid. We'll watch now here on lap 107 if that car begins to slow. He's going to lose another position on the racetrack. Now Andrew down in the 6th position, trying to hold on as it looks like he's going to lose another spot there. As Josh Cottle is going to watch all this from afar, going to think about to the inside of the 88. No, he's going to fall right back behind it, make lap 109 down to 1.
And here is that number 13, Josh Cottle, after falling quite a few positions off of the restart. Remember, he was our lead car and finds himself all the way back there in the 7th place position behind the damaged car of Ryan Andrew. And I will say I respect the attitude that I'm seeing out of the 88 tonight, Will, because he keeps getting knocked down, but guess what? He shakes it off, dusts it off, and grabs that steering wheel, gets back to it.
Yes, sir. There was a few musical references in there. I get knocked down, I get back up again. You can't also forget about T-Swizzles. Just shake, shake, shake it off. He is shaking it all off here tonight as the 88 still inside the top 10.
Well, I didn't think we were going to get a Chumbawamba reference here on the show, but you know, this place is shaped a little bit like a tub, so we could go tub thumping later, huh?
There we go. I love to hear it as the battles still begin to ensue on the racetrack here on lap 113. Our top 10 is bookended by the 17 of Sellers. 9th is that 70 of Smith. We watched the huge run here tonight. In 9th or 8th will be Hesnall in that 68. 7th, Andrew in that 88 machine. We just touched on his run to go back up through the grid here tonight. Josh Cottle now starting to slide just a little bit, being a little bit coy on the racetrack. In 6th, Lucas, that 4 machine. In 5th, Perry in that 20 machine. In 4th, Will currently in 3rd. In that 7th, Joey Masevich in that 64 machine in the 2nd position. and Jeff Maconi, our race leader in that 03.
Jeff Maconi is doing a really, really good job to stay in control of this race, kind of dictate the pace ever since he got up front. And I've been watching him, Josh Cottle, up to 6th place. He's making his way around some cars now. I think he's starting to turn it up just a little bit.
It's almost like when you wake up in the morning, Joey, when your alarm goes off, you hit that snooze button for 10 minutes, it goes off again, you hit that snooze button again for 10 minutes. I think that's what Josh Cottle is doing inside that race car here tonight. That alarm's going off, letting him know it's time to let those horses gallop once again. He's letting it snooze again, going off, he's letting it snooze. But now it looks like that machine of Josh Cottle is fully awake as he is now starting to eat up positions once again down to corner number 1.
Well, he wagged the tail off of turn 2 that last lap. Let's see if he keeps it in check. He's one of the cleanest looking cars on the racetrack, and I don't mean that by body damage. I just mean how he's approaching the racetrack. He's just able to keep the car down underneath. He's able to maintain control of where he wants to place the car and which lane he's choosing. And we see it right here. He's battling Carson Lucas, and he is in no way in ever wanting to go up the racetrack. I know he wants to go up there to clear him for the pass, but we're not seeing him go up there and apply any sort of side pressure, squeeze him up the racetrack at all. And actually jumping back up front, something that I'm noticing here is Josh Cottle actually gets fully underneath Carson Lucas. He's just got to try to figure out a way, but I mentioned he's trying to save those tires, but Jeff Maconi, back up front, he's chosen to go to the top side of the racetrack. Now here at Bristol, this team of Maconi Setup Shop racers has really created this setup to race both lanes. And which do you like to drive? Do you like to drive down low? Do you like to drive up top? And for the most part, we've seen the competitors go down low to create these passing opportunities. But here, we see the number 03 of Jeff Maconi start to race up top on the high side. And I believe that's actually the first car that we've seen move up the racetrack. Watching Chris Willite here, along with Joey Masevich, clicking off laps for what is the 2nd place position. Really good run out of this number 7. Chris Willite's been consistently in the top positions all race. And I gotta be honest with you, I didn't necessarily pick him. He qualified 6th, so he's got plenty of speed, but he kind of flew under the radar a little bit for me. But he has proven that once the green flag has fallen, he's been one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. And I think I saw Jeff Maconi on the radio. I'm not sure if he said something, but had a little bit of a moment there that last lap. And now we got Joey Masevich battling Jeff Maconi for the lead down low, and that's going to open up the top side for Chris Willite in that number 7 car.
Yeah, 7 Machine's going to watch there in the 3rd position. Joey Masevich in that 64 driver that's very strong here on Maconi Entertainment, whether it's here in the Driver's Gauntlet or in other series. Now here tonight, trying to grab the big win here at Bristol. Keeps thinking about that inside pass as we're down to 3 and 4.
Well, here he's up alongside, but Jeff Maconi racing that top lane really pulls the top speed down the straightaways here and is able to gap them. And this is more traditionally what we've seen at Bristol in real life cars, where one car is all the way up along the fence and the other has kind of got to throw a slider all the way down low to try to clear him.
Yeah, Joey Masevich follows Jeff Maconi up the racetrack there, top side through 1 and 2. Joey Masevich going to use that run to go to the inside. Jeff Maconi across the line, 133 down into 1. Joey Masevich just keeps thinking about it as Josh Cottle now says, I want to play as well, guys. You guys didn't invite me to play. I want to play. As now he digs to the inside of the 7, around 1 and 3 and 4 across the line, 140, 34.
Now, I've been watching the 13, but not that close apparently, because all of a sudden he's up into the 4th place position. That means he went by Carson Lucas, he went by Kyle Perry, and here he is pounding the back of Chris Wilhite. And it seems like once again he just has a car underneath him that he can place it where he wants to on the racetrack, and ideally I think that's down low. And Will, if you ask me, I think you might be able to hang on to a position up top, but if you want to pass somebody, you're going to have to go down on the racetrack down low.
You're just going to have to be a mosquito in the summertime down here in the state of Florida. Just be aggravating, consistent, and never ending to gain a position here tonight. We watched it with Jeffrey Maconi. We watched it with Joey Masevich, our top 2 drivers on the racetrack. They had to be all of those things to be where they're at on the racetrack, because now Josh Cottle is going to think to the top side of the 7 once again. We see a move that's just going to dissipate on the racetrack, Joey. Once again, he's going to try here on the apex of the corner. They're side by side down to 3 and 4.
Now, I mentioned you're going to have to make the passes down low unless the competition opens the door for you up top, and Josh Cottle graciously accepted. He said, all right, if you're going to give me the top lane, I will take that and I will drive right around you, because I have saved these tires. And look at the difference that it's making on the racetrack. The 13 really has a lot of speed.
Josh Cottle now to the inside of Joey Masevich in that 64 machine. Again, playing coolly throughout tonight's race. Dropped down to about the 7th or 8th position just to get his bearings, to relax a little bit. Possibly even go grab a snack, Joey, as now we see that 13 machine now starting to battle back where he left off. Now going to go to the inside of the 64 with a huge run down in the corner. The 64 is going to be bogged down by Jeffrey Maconi, our race leader. This battle is just brewing here on lap 142.
Well, the 13's going to have to get closer than that to try to make a move to clear Masevich for sure. I think the only thing that Josh Cottle might be able to hope for is if Jeff Maconi is able to hold up the 64 behind him, and maybe the 13 will clear him, as you see Josh Cottle wag the tail a little bit coming off of turn 2 there. And traditionally now what we see in real life is when these cars are all the way up top and you can't get around them on the bottom, what you got to do is essentially follow them up top and get the exit that's equal to them, and then be able to really throw the slider underneath. But if Josh Cottle runs the bottom of the racetrack, he's just going to have to take inch by inch and slowly make that pass.
As we started to see the follow the leader game being played by Jeffrey Maconi in that 03, just as you were touching on there, Joey, that 64 of Joey Masevich, this consistently follows the 03 around the racetrack. Gonna go topside with him here around the corner. Josh Cottle still to the inside. He's going to slowly but methodically just follow the leader around the racetrack. And Joey, you touched on it there. You know, here as we creep up with 50 laps to go, you have to start to think, though, when that 64 now wants to start putting their own moves together to get around Jeff Maconi in that 03.
Well, and you mentioned Josh Cottle joining the party, but I think someone is at the door. I hear the doorbell, and there's a bright yellow car that's waiting here to join the party. Aaron Smith is now making it a 5-car battle for the lead.
Aaron Smith just quietly moving up there, not quietly in the paint scheme, but quietly in the driving style here tonight. Now putting it on that 7 machine of Will Light, our top 5 on the racetrack. Now is separated from the rest of the field there, Joey. What a great shot here in Maconi Entertainment. You see 5th place, and then 6th place is nowhere to be seen.
Our producer, Ryan Bauer, also known as the Bearded Sim Racer, giving us the best shots here as the 64 scrapes the wall going down the front straightaway. And that might be the opportunity, but no, the 13 can't quite clear him off a 2 and drifts up the racetrack a little bit, trying to get the speed down the straightaway. And I tell you what, the 03 Jeff Maconi is doing a very, very good job. And we officially are 50 laps to go. We've already gone 3/4 of the way through this race. It's starting to be crunch time now.
Yeah, as we cross the line down into 1, Josh Cottle on that 13. What I'm noticing here tonight, Joey, as we count these laps down, getting very loose on the exit of the corners. Just as we exited 2 there, you saw a wiggle out of that 13. Watch as we exit 4.
Yellow flag on the racetrack.
Caution flag is out. Caution flag is out.
Yeah, and we see it down there. I believe it might have been Ryan Andrew down on the apron there off of turn 4, I believe it was. And I know that we'll get a quick replay of exactly what happened. And you see the 88 all by himself right here, and he just has a huge loose moment off of 4. And wow, that was... I thank God that these are virtual cars, because that was a very, very square hit on the side of the car.
Yeah, for the 88 of Ryan Andrew, this is a night when you finally get that thing parked. You get out of the race car, you take your helmet off, you just lean on that car, because it has been a rough night for the 88. Was our race leader, contact with a lapped car. Worked all the way through up the grid again, Joey, then scrapes the top side wall very hard. The 88 of Ryan Andrew then fell down the grid again, and now unfortunately looks to be retired here tonight as we watch this battle off of pit road. Joey Masevich looks to lead the field off of pit road.
Yeah, I believe it's Masevich, and then Maconi, and then Willite, and Josh Cottle. Josh Cottle came in, I believe 3rd. Was he in 3rd or 4th when he came in, and then he came out 4th?
I believe he was in the 3rd position.
Yeah, no, well, no matter what here, these top 5 still remain the same. However, they have shuffled in their own respective order just a little bit. And to give everybody a quick rundown of the field right now, Joey Masevich leading the way, Jeff Maconi 2nd place, Chris Willite, we mentioned there in 3rd, Josh Cottle, Aaron Smith rounding out the top 5, Guillaume Hesno there in 6th, Carson Lucas 7th, Kyle Terzak 8th, Eric Sellers 9th, Ryan Andrew in the 10th place position, Brian Zabelski 11th, and then we get to the cars that have had some troubles and are a few laps down, but Dakota Bro still on the racetrack. Same thing with Mark McNutt and also Brandon Evans. Remember, Brandon Evans had that problem earlier in the race, and he is still trucking along back there. I know he's about 20 some laps down, but still turning laps.
Yeah, still turning laps indeed here with 45 laps to go. This is the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. We're into stock cars finally here in this series, Joey. After this, we move to the truck series, the next level up for a driver. Here tonight, we've seen some excellent driving out of these guys here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Joey Masevich now at the top of the grid. In the same mix of names, though, at the top, Joey, we've seen great runs out of the 70 of Smith there. You see the 68's been lingering inside the top 10. You look at other guys, though, at the book ending of that top 10, only 9 cars left on the lead lap.
That is one of the things that happens here at Bristol, is definitely you can go a lap down and it's easy to get swallowed up by the lead lap cars if they are fast. Now, with these fresh tires, Will, we saw the 13 play the long game for both of these first green flag stints. However, we don't have nearly that amount of time here. I'm curious to see if the 13 of Josh Cottle gets on the loud pedal immediately, or if he goes into tire conservation, as Joey Masevich has a huge jump on the bottom, already clear going down into turn 1. It's the 03 of Jeffrey Maconi in that familiar high groove in the 2nd place, and Josh Cottle and Chris Willite now battling it out for what is the 3rd position.
Yeah, as we make it 42 laps to go, Joey Masevich, our race leader. Jeff Maconi currently in 2nd. We watch a battle for 3rd, now 4th right there as Willite in that 7th. Starting to drift a little bit. Ooh, he almost drifts up into the 68 machine as we make it. Oh, it looks like our 2nd place car, Jeff Maconi, gets loose as well. Maybe these drivers aren't used to these new tires, Joey, here with 41 laps to go.
Yeah, the 03 had a big loose moment, and thankfully was very respectful with the racetrack to not shut the door on the 13. He's trying to move up to the top side, and Will, if you ask me, it just seems like Jeff Maconi does not like the bottom of the racetrack. He had run that entire stint on the top side, and here he is trapped down low.
Yeah, Maconi now going to feel pressure from that 70 of Smith. That bright yellow machine out to the inside of the 03. Maconi now back up to the top side. Again, not looking comfortable after putting fresh tires on that race car. One of the strongest cars here tonight was momentarily leading the race. Now down into the 5th position. Feeling pressure from the 70 machine here with 38 laps to go.
Yeah, and he's got the 70 behind him. But here we're going to watch this battle out front because Josh Cottle, he says, you know what, the heck with tire saving. We only got some 37 laps left in this race. It's time to go, and you know what? I'm trying to get to Gapplebee's on y'all.
Like Ludacris once said, I'm coming for that #1 spot. Josh Cottle has been the #1 driver overall this season in the point standings. Now here tonight trying to be the top dog once again as he's to the inside of the 64 of Joey Masevich. Not going to be enough though. We've talked about how hard it is to pass here tonight, but Josh Cottle on that 13 has that dog mentality and he keeps fighting for that lead spot here with 35 laps to go.
Well, I think that the 03 proved that if you run the top lane of the racetrack, it can be very, very difficult to get the pass done. And this is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for the 13 to start to move around on the racetrack a little bit, not just run the bottom lane. And I think now we're going to see Josh Cottle unlock a little bit more speed in that car and start to provide even more pressure on the back of Masevich. And Will, look at this. Oh no, Andrew right in front of the leaders. He got into the wall again. That checks up Masevich. That all but hands the lead to the 13. That is a race-changing moment out of the 88 lapped car. Oh no, and more problems with another lapped car holding up Josh Cottle. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, the lapped cars are now becoming an obstacle in this marathon here tonight. Naked Eye triathlon with everything these drivers have to go through. Now Josh Cottle back up at the top of the grid where he's the most comfortable. Oh no! Contact between the 68 and the 64. Joey Masevich. They're all going to hold tight though on the racetrack. No caution. Fireworks are starting to fly now, Joey, with 30 laps to go.
Yeah, things calmed down at all, which I don't think they are, as Joey Masevich was 3 wide. The 85 just punted the 15 here in turn 3, and I think we're still staying green flag on the racetrack, but what a save from Joey Masevich. He got a little bit of a hip check and got way up the racetrack on the dirty part, but was able to keep it pointed straight, and look at this. I've been having my eye on Josh Cottle all night, and I called Chris Willite flying under the radar earlier, but he is flexing some serious muscle and speed.
Yeah, just been very quiet. It's almost like the quiet kid in class. Joey sits in the back, takes all the best notes, gets all the best race. Just doesn't say that much. And for Willite and that 7 machine here tonight, always been in the mix inside the top 5. Been watching everybody else battle it out. Always had that court side view, but here tonight on the back bumper of Josh Cottle down the backstretch into 3 and 4 with 25 laps to go. Joey, now it is time to watch these money moves take place here in the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet.
Well, and I also like what I'm seeing out of the number 7 in that he's not following in the tire tracks of our leader. He's searching around the racetrack a little bit, which means the car is going to make speed in slightly different areas. And see, now we see Josh Cottle, the leader, respond to that on the racetrack. He is starting to move the race car around just to throw that variable. And in my opinion, it's really important as a racer to realize what is going on and see the big picture.
Yeah, with 9 cars left on the lead lap here tonight with 23 laps to go, we now watch that battle of the 70 of Smith trying to get around Jeff Maconi in that 03 to the inside. The 70 goes here down the front stretch. That is a battle for a top 5 position. Gonna file back around as we are just fanned out on the racetrack, getting around lapped cars. 22 laps to go. So Josh Cottle, our race leader, across the line.
Also, really impressive run from Guillaume here in the 68. He is actually the fastest car on the racetrack. He has hunted down our 2 leaders, and he's going to make it a battle that's going to be 3 cars for the lead here in just a matter of a few laps. Pachow here at Bristol.
Yes, sir, and Gnome right there in that third position at 68 in a prime spot. Joey, if history serves us anything here at Bristol, there'll be late race contact, there'll be another caution. Who knows, even the leaders might make contact to be in third here at a prime position with 19 laps to go.
Under 20 laps to go. It is amazing how quickly these laps click off here at Bristol, even in the ARCA cars. Wow, Jeffrey Maconi had a huge loose moment off of turn 4, but thankfully keeps control of the car, but opens the door. Aaron Smith finally makes his way around for that position number 4, but I think Jeff Maconi's got to think big picture at this point. He's one of the top runners in the championship, and you just got to stay in touch. Sometimes it's about minimizing the bleeding. Sometimes
you know when that race car is not going to do what you want it to do here tonight, but still you can scrape out a good finish. For Jeffrey Maconi was very strong, momentarily our leader on the racetrack. Just it seemed as though once that new pit stop took place, those new tires went on that race car, it was just very different to what Jeff was comfortable with there in the first half of tonight's race. The top 5 will still be pretty good as far as points goes, but here tonight, the night is going to belong to Josh Cottle, who's still leading the way with 15 laps to go. But in the top dog, overall top dog here tonight, we can't count out the 7 of Willite with 15 laps to go.
No, but just this lap right here, Josh Cottle pulled maybe a 1/10 of a second on Chris Willite, and sometimes that's all you need to do. Is you just need to tooth and nail claw those inches away from your competitor. And now we're seeing the number 13 another 1/10 of a second faster than the number 7 car this last lap, and going to be coming up to 12 laps to go on the racetrack. And here we're going to jump back. This is Aaron Smith in the 70 catching the back of the 68. Guillaume Hasneau here, trying to get on the last step of the podium, and Jeff Maconi falling back down to the 5th place position, but looks like he will be able to hang on to 5th, barring any more yellow flags or incidents out on the racetrack.
Yeah, race is really molded into what you see now. Everybody pretty solid in their positions on the racetrack with 11 laps to go. Aaron Smith said, "Don't count me out, though. I'm not comfortable where I'm at in the 4th position." You see this battle for 3rd starting to brew up here with 10 laps to go. These drivers probably realizing now, Joey, their race victory might be out of the picture, but still a podium here tonight might be pretty nice.
Well, Aaron Smith has been one of the faster cars on the racetrack all night. I know that he wants to be up battling for the lead, but still battling for the 3rd place position out here, and see if he can get that podium, as our leader is dealing with a little bit of lap traffic. He does get around the 15 of Mark McNutt, as the 7 maybe gets a little bit held up, but we're getting 8 laps to go. These two are actually going to have to deal with this lapped car here soon enough.
And we watch here across the line, 8 laps to go now here in the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. 7 laps to go, excuse me, as we've seen this series being dominated by Josh Cottle in that 13 machine. Currently our race leader on the track. We watch a battle brewing now for the 3rd position, the last spot on the podium, as the 70 of Smith's going to get loose off of 4 now with 6 laps to go. Down the backstretch here as we watch their side-by-side creeping up on a lap car here, Joey. Things are about to get intense. 3 wider at 3 and 4. There's contact made.
Yeah, really savvy move from Aaron Smith in the 70. He got the door open on the outside. Even though there was a lapped car there, he took it, was able to squeeze underneath the lapped car, and takes away 3rd place from Guillaume. But look at this. Out front, Josh Cottle, he hasn't just gotten that arm's length distance. It is almost half a straightaway at this point that he has over the number 7 machine of Chris Willite, and that equates out to about 1.2 seconds, and that last lap alone a full 2/10 faster than Chris Willite. He is just starting to gap the field. It seems like the more laps that this number 13 car puts on the tires, the faster and more into the groove he gets. He's looking at just another lap and a half left. He's got the 52 of Dakota Bro, a lapped car in front of him. And here we got Barney, the flag man, waving that white flag. One more lap to go as the 13 goes down the back straightaway, just has to hit his marks for 2 more turns, and he's gonna see the checkered flag for 3 times in a row here at the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet.
But a big win for Josh Cottle and that 13 machine, as the fans in the chats had taken them to Gapplebee's there. And that 13 machine played coy there, Joey, towards the end of the race, faltered just a little bit. I think it was just to give him just a little bit more competition, a little bit more obstacles to fight through here tonight as he burns it down here on the front stretch of Bristol Motor Speedway. Josh Cottle, our race winner.
As we watch the celebratory donuts here on the front straightaway, 3 in a row for Josh Cottle, late models, super late models, and now here in the ARCA cars. What tube frame can't this man master, is rightfully roasting it off until there is no rear tires left on that 13. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the official results.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
There is a reason that Maconi Setup Shop is partnered with more real-world tracks and companies, including Junior Motorsports, than any other group on the iRacing service.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Well, you just witnessed Josh Cottle make it a three-peat, call it, and take home another victory in checkered flag, this time at Bristol. Rolling in second place is Chris Willite. Gave him a heck of a battle. Really shout out, I'm going to call him Dark Horse, flying under the radar, Chris Willite. A really good race, coming home second place. Aaron Smith, also one of the fastest cars all night, coming home in the final podium spot third. Guillaume Hesneau there in fourth. Jeff Maconi, good points haul, coming home in the top 5. Kyle Terzak, sixth. Joey Masevich, and give a little shout out here because Joey did the right thing. He had that lapped car and lifted out of the gas, but unfortunately it cost him that battle for the lead, coming home in 7th. Carson Lucas 8th, Eric Sellers 9th, and actually 10th place is our first car 1 lap down, Will.
Yeah, we look at Brian Sobolewski, our first lapped car on the racetrack. In 11th, we have Dakota Bro. 12th would be Mark McNutt. 13th, Brendan Evans in the 39 machine. Ryan Andrew, a guy who watched all night long. Joey just battle and battle and battle until finally his race car gave up on him here tonight. Finishes 14th. Kyle Perry in that 20 will finish 15th. Jacob Reeves in that 91 will finish 16th. Ryan Zimmerman, 17th position. Jason Hurdle, 18th. Tanner Marr in that 6 will finish 19th. Michael Klein, and we'll round out our top 20.
And it looks like we do have our winner. Josh Cottle will be joining us here. And Josh, first of all, congratulations on the race win here tonight.
Yes, sir. We got it done. I feel like I just saved my tires a little bit more than everybody.
Well, that's what I saw too. You know, at the beginning of the race, you played it easy, and then you had that yellow flag, which kind of fell into your hands, getting the track position back. But then you did the exact same thing the second stint, and by the time you guys took your last set of tires, you just said, all right, it's go time, huh?
Yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people, I was just talking to them about this. I feel like a lot of people were just using the top, and I was the only one to seem to like only run the bottom. And I feel like that helped me a lot. I feel like the people that just ran the top burned their stuff up and it was getting really tight. And I guess it seemed like the bottom worked for me, I guess.
Well, and to talk a little bit about that with you, because I just watched this whole race for you, Josh. You're right. And the guys that were running the top, they were able to hold their position up there, but you were one of the more clean cars. And I think one of the reasons why you were able to run the bottom is because you were so easy on the warm-up phase of those tires. It really seemed to be that the longer you ran, the more and more the car came to you.
Yeah, I was just really scared to push my car super fast because this car burns tires up and it's Bristol. So what I would do is just kind of sit and relax my tires a little bit, get them ready pretty much, and then just start gradually increasing my pace. And a lot of people seem to be pushing it insanely hard, like the first 3 laps of the green flag. I don't know. I don't know. I guess we all had different strategies in our head.
Well, your strategy seemed to work out the best, and it makes 3 in a row now. Should we go ahead and just kind of reserve a chair for you up here in the commentary booth for next race?
Is it dirt next week or is it Charlotte? You're
going NASCAR trucks at Knoxville.
No, I'm gonna be in the back. Dirt racing is not my forte. I'm probably gonna have to practice a bunch there and get ready for that.
Well, I will never count you out because you have been putting on a show the last few weeks. And before I let you go, you're currently in the championship points lead for sure. Is there anybody that you want to say hi to?
Oh yeah, man! I want to thank y'all for doing the broadcast. I love watching these each week. Last week at Five Flags was really fun to watch all the chaos that happened. Thank you to Maconi that putting on this event, and thank you to the shop obviously for helping me get better each week. Thank you to the Call Captures, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to keep an eye on you, even if you're in the dirt next week at Knoxville. That was Josh Cottle, our race winner, the driver of the number 13 car. And looks like Will Tiller is now standing by with Chris Willite.
Yeah, Chris Willite in that 7 machine, consistently a top 3 car here tonight. We talked about how you were just slow and methodical, didn't really make too much noise on the racetrack. Raced your way to a 2nd place finish here. How'd you get it done at Bristol?
Oh, Chris, we got you. Looks like we're going to come back to Chris here as he sorts out a couple microphone issues. Give him just another minute, see if he copies. And we're actually going to move on to Aaron Smith here. Aaron, congratulations on taking home what is the final podium spot at Bristol.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pretty fun race all around, but certainly could have done without that last caution. I felt like I was in a pretty good spot there right before that yellow came out, but we were able to pick up the pieces and bring it home 3rd.
Now, you'll have to go back and watch the broadcast, but I noticed that you fell back during kind of the middle portion of the, call it the 1st or 2nd stint, and then we were able to really highlight your run through the field, and it was very impressive how you were able to just pick off cars one at a time and just manage your way straight back towards the front.
Yeah, I wanted to save the right front tire because I wasn't too sure how this tire model was going to behave, but I was able to save the right sides pretty well on that really long run. I think that took us about 100 laps into the race, but yeah, it held its own pretty well, and I was able to pick some of those guys off, like you said. And unfortunately, we didn't get that long of a run to finish out the race, but we made the most of it.
Well, now talk to me about the tire wear that you're seeing out there, because that was what Josh Cottle, who won the race, really mentioned in his interview, is that he thought that everybody was just abusing the tires from the get-go, and since he saved, that's really what allowed him to drive by everybody. Did you kind of see something similar?
Yeah, I noticed almost everybody running the outside, and that's probably the worst thing you could do with these tires, as far as I know. And that's probably the reason why I was just hanging around the bottom there, just hugging the apron as well as I could underneath everybody. And right before I got up to that group of 5 at the front, I was just sitting behind them there waiting to pounce. And then, like I said earlier, that caution came out and kind of threw a wrench into everything. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, you were definitely one of the ones to watch all race out there, especially makes it easy to spot you with the bright yellow paint scheme. And before I let you go, is there anybody that you want to say hi to or thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everyone involved here for putting this show on, Youth Broadcasting, all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it whenever I show up next.
Awesome. Well, that was Aaron Smith, driver of the number 70, third place finisher today. And looks like Will now is standing by with Chris once again.
Yeah, Chris, you got a copy up here in the booth?
Almost. We almost had him, Will.
Don't think Chris can hear us up here in the booth, but great run out of Chris Will Light here tonight. Going to finish second, Joey, and see if we have him up here now. Chris, you got a copy?
No. I hear him a little bit. Chris, you there?
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. We got a winner. Chris Will Light finishing second here tonight. Chris, how'd you get it done here tonight at Bristol?
Yeah, fun race tonight. Bristol's an awesome track. You can run some different lines, some different grooves, and tough to pass as always. Dealing with a lot of lap track, but just good wheel to wheel battling tonight. And tires were really a strategy with the limited tire sets as well.
Yeah, what we were saying on the broadcast, that you were very quiet in tonight's race. Didn't really make too much noise. We didn't really see you an aggressive style, but somehow that strategy here tonight puts you in the second position. Was that sort of your strategy coming into tonight's race? Just trying to keep it low key, if you will, and see where that puts you at the end?
Yeah, I was making some pretty good moves right on the fresh tires. I think some guys were saving a little bit more than me beginning of the run. So I tried to make my moves early and then just kind of get in a groove. And once we got single filed out, just really tough to pass with guys protecting the high line. So yeah, just tried to make some moves early and then just stay out of trouble. We kept the car clean, not a scratch on her.
Yeah, definitely good looking race car there on the track. We're watching you here on Maconi Entertainment, that 7 machine to quit. Chris Will Light here. And Chris, you watched Josh Cottle win this race here tonight in that 13 machine. Did you ever feel like during tonight's race that you might have had something for that 13? As we watched that 13 climb up to the grid, get that lead back, lead the way. Did you ever feel like if you could get close enough, you might have a shot at it?
Yeah, I think I got close to him a couple times. I think he was just toying with me because as soon as I got to his bumper, he'd take off and pull a couple car lengths. So he was being smart. I think he was running just as fast as he needed to run without burning his tires. Then he had a little bit in reserve, but he had a great run tonight. He made his way up through the field. He passed us a couple times. So tonight was his night for sure.
Yeah, great run, though, out of that 7 machine, finishing second here tonight. And, Chris, we go from the ARCA to the trucks next week. What do you like about those trucks that maybe we could see that 7 in victory lane?
Yeah, love running the trucks. We're on dirt, I believe, so that's going to be a little different. I do a little dirt racing. So, yeah, I think, listen, that's going to be all about staying out of trouble and, keeping the car or truck pointed as straight as you can and trying to survive that race and just try to be there at the end. But we're going to give it a good run. I think these last few races will be good for us.
Well, Chris, a second place finish at Bristol is always a thing to celebrate. You survived the gauntlet here tonight. Chris, before we let you go, is there anybody that you wanted to shout out or any sponsors that made this race possible for you?
Yeah, just congratulations to Josh for the win. Give a shout out to Highside Motorsports, my stock car team, and shout out to Jeff for putting on this event, and shout out to Maconi Entertainment. Thanks for broadcasting.
Awesome, Chris. Well, we appreciate you taking the time with us, my man. We'll see you next week here in the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet.
Sounds good.
Well, what a heck of a race we saw here on the 2023 Drivers Gauntlet. Josh Cottle kind of pulled out the sweep, if you will. He's gone 3 for 3 now. Late models, super late models, ARCA cars. He said he was not very good on the Knoxville dirt, but we're just going to have to see how that all plays out. And want to thank tonight's race sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop, as well as our broadcast partner here, Maconi Competizone. Calling all the action tonight was myself, Joey Atterbury, alongside Will Tiller in the booth and Ryan Bauer producing. And don't forget, round 5 of the Drivers Gauntlet is 2 weeks from today, February 25th, with the only dirt race of the season. We mentioned it, the trucks at Knoxville. As always, we would like to thank our viewers for tuning in to tonight's racing action, and a special shout out, of course, goes to the entire staff and their work for bringing this racing to you. Be sure to stay tuned to all of our social media pages, and we hope to see you at our next event. This has been a production of Maconi Entertainment. We wish you all a good night.